What's up? What is up? Play any baseball lately? It's the first comment. No. Nick, thank you for your 8 months. What's up, dude? How we doing? How's everybody doing today? Yes. This is No Hat Trevor Day. Congratulations, you made it. You are here, you witnessed, and you should be proud of that. You're witnessing history. I hope you guys are doing good. Shay, hello. How you doing? How is everyone doing? Hairline is crisp. Oh, don't look at the back. The back ain't not good. That's why I wear hats. I have male pattern baldness. New hairdo. I did get a haircut, yes. It is a new, I did my hair. I have a baby, and I did my hair. So it's a big day. Turned 40. Happy birthday, Shay. Happy birthday. How's it going? Love the show? Doing good, DK Ghost. Good to see you. Good to see you as you guys filter in. Everyone say hello in the chat. That's what we do here. When the show starts up, we start chatting. Because without you, this is nothing. Without you, I am nothing. And I just want to give you a good show. So it's great to see everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Say hello to your friends. Everyone get acquainted, get cozy. We're gonna get right into this thing because I got a lot to talk about. And you know, spring training started a couple days ago. Yeah, literally a couple days ago. 5 days ago was report for everybody? Or like in the last 5 days or something. And we have live VPs happening. You know, this isn't going to make it in the show, but I saw Clay Holmes throwing a new pitch, a kick change, which I will be getting into at some point. But it is very, very interesting. If you are actually interested in learning about that, Kate Maniscalco, Scalco. I don't know how to say your last name, Kate. I'm sorry. On Instagram, did a great breakdown. So go check her out. It was awesome. I loved it. Yes, I also saw that Frankie Montes is hurt. But we're really quickly. Let me give you. I'm going to start doing this at the very top of the show, and then we're going to go right into it with our segments. So we have some news. Our main story of the day, we are going to be ranking all 30 starting rotations in order from 30 to 1. I was going to do the top 5. Then I was like, ooh, this is hard. I'm going to do top 10. Oh, my God, this is hard. I'm going to do top 15. I'm already halfway through. Might as well do them all. So I rated everybody from A to F in a bunch of different categories. I did it in a different way. I hope you're going to enjoy it. And I'm going to get into a breakdown in another realm of statistics that we seemingly no one seems to know what it actually means. So I'm going to make that a recurring thing as well, and we have a lot of things returning. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I know I mentioned this last week that finally we knew where Bregman was going, and we don't have to talk about him anymore. But just one more time. We're going to talk about it one more time. Alex Bregman signed a deal with the Red Sox, 3 years, $120 million, deferred money. We have signing bonus money. We have, all kinds of stuff. But in essence, it's 3 years, 40 a year, which is $10 million in AAV over any other deal he was offered anywhere else. He rejoins Alex Cora, who was his coach at Houston. You might remember what they were both involved in. But one interesting thing about this whole thing is that the Tigers actually offered a 6-year, $171 million deal. And the Astros were at 156. Now, 6 years, 171 sounds pretty good to me. Now, I understand the AV is not great, but it is, it is security for a long period of time. But one thing I thought was interesting is that he chose to go join Alex Cora and not AJ Hinch. Interessante. Now, Bregman joins a team that you guys may know already has a third baseman. He goes by the name of Rafael Devers, and he once took me around the pesky pole for a 3-run home run. It's okay, though. Don't worry. Only one of the 3 runs were mine. That was the one that he counted for. The other 2 were cash, baby. I hated cashing in runs. It's like one of my, I'm so mad. So they have a third baseman. So this is creating an interesting situation. Okay. But really quickly, before we talk about this man, there is an interesting stats line on Alex Bregman. He has a good track record at Fenway. In 21 career games, he has he's batting .375 with 7 homers and 15 ribbies. His career 1,240 OPS is the best all time in Fenway for a visiting player with over 90 at bats. That is incredible. Actually, no. It's the best in Major League history among all players, not just at Fenway, all players. This is giving me shades of like when Robinson Cano signed with the Seattle Mariners because he absolutely raked in Seattle and no one has since. So that's interesting that guys are factoring that in when they make their decision about where they want to go. But the thing about him not going with Hinch is so interesting to me, and we're going to talk a little bit about his free agency in a second, but right now I want to touch on Rafi Devers. Now, Rafael Devers, it's been thrown out there. You know, they said if this deal happens, Bregman could go, Rafi could play third, Bregman could go play second, and you know, we're good. And we got Tristan Casas over at first. Like, we don't need to mix it up too much. Bregman profiles as a second baseman, and he has said that he is open to it. He played shortstop at LSU. He was a very good shortstop. A lot of people thought he would be a shortstop, second baseman type player anyways. Third base was a little bit weird at the time, and he won a Gold Glove last year. It's worked out really well. And he's open to going there, so I don't think there's going to be an issue. But somebody, this guy, has heard what has been said, and when asked of whether or not he would be moving, he said this. We're gonna listen in a moment, any moment. Maybe this is it.
Yeah, I mean, third base is my position. It's what I've played. You know, I don't know what their plans are. Like, I know we had a conversation. I made it clear kind of what my desires were. And
now when you pay attention at the end.
Like I said before, like my position is third base. I don't know how they want to go about it or what they want to do, but I know that that's the position I get ready to play every day. And it's just, you know, it's just my position.
How would you react if they asked you to DH? How would you feel about that?
No.
Can you translate that, please?
How do you feel like the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, third base.
I don't know if you caught what he said there at the end, but he said, no. No, he won't DH. No. Just, what if they asked you to be the DH? He goes, no. So, right now they're okay. Bregman can go to second. But what if, guys, what if Kristen Campbell comes up? Their big prospect, Kristen Campbell, who is part of their team moving forward. They want him to play second base. What happens? It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but it's very clear that this man does not want to go be a DH. He's still like, 23? I don't know. It seems to never age. And the guy's a freak at the plate. But yeah, if we're taking Alex Bregman or Devers for the defense, I think I know who I'm picking, and I think I know who you would pick as well. So yeah, interesting. Also, I want to point out, being a translator in these touchy situations sucks ass. It must be awful. It must be truly terrible. Truly terrible. But yeah, we have the Red Sox. You know, we have our title here, Boston Bregman, but don't call him DH Devers, because he no like you that. A little housekeeping before we move on. The Mayday pod, companion pod for this show right here is everywhere you listen to podcasts. If you missed this show or you just want to listen to some of the news or the big segments, the audio versions of them, you can go get them there. I would highly recommend that you subscribe to that because, you know, not everyone can watch a show in the middle of the day on Mondays. So you can also catch the VOD later. It's always saved on my YouTube channel and on my Twitch channel. So if you want to watch wherever you're watching, you can watch it later. But if you're an audio person, you want to throw you're on the bus, whatever, you're going wherever, you're on a flight, do that. Thank you. Also, Cut on the Diamond, brand new episode. Adam Ottavino was last week. This week, Daniel Barr joined me for a 1.5 hour sit down where we talked about everything from anxiety to his crazy freaking path through to the major leagues, exploding onto the scene, disappearing for a while, coming back in a blaze of glory, and what he's hoping to do this year. It was a great conversation. We got more and more loose as the conversation went on. So highly recommend. Go subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts, same places, same deal as Mayday. Thank you so much. And now that we have games again, it's time to talk more about Nastiest Pitches. Our Nastiest Pitches segment is coming back starting next week, either next week or the week after, where I take your submissions, we go through all the links, we watch all the Nastiest Pitches, and you watch me watch them in real time because I don't watch them beforehand. I react to them in real time. It's great. We go look up all the stats. We talk in depth about pitches and how they get to certain shapes. And we got new pitches like the kick change that's going to be all over the place. So if you want to submit a pitch for Nastiest Pitches, you can do it in two ways. One, go into the Discord, ! Discord in both chats. The link will come up. It'll just join it. And there is a Nastiest Pitches little channel in there. It's really easy to find. You just put your link in. That's it. If you're going to bring a link, if it's from like Twitter or from Instagram or something, that's okay. But like, just don't give me MLB Film Room. That thing is awful. I don't want to watch 30 seconds of ads every time I want to watch a video. So you can go to baseballsavant.com, StatCast search. You can do your criteria. You can find your pitches. It's all gravy from there. And it gives you like a link and it sends me directly to it. So that's really nice. I appreciate that a lot. I can even download them so I could put them all in a player too if I want, or have someone else do it so I don't have to watch them. So please use this. And also the other way that you can submit them is at trevor@maydayshow.com. Email them to me at trevor@maydayshow. Email a link to pitches@maydayshow.com. Sorry, bad information. If I lied in my chat, we're never going to get where we need to go. Sorry about that. That's on me. That's on me. I'm sorry. Okay. Moving on, we have a question from Aubrey in Discord. Also, guys, if you ever want a question on the show, you want your question answered, and you want me to get into it, really dive deep. Questions for Trevor in the Discord, same place. It's literally right above the Nastiest Pitches thing. So wherever you're trying to participate, you can do it in the Discord. Please join the Discord. The question was, who was your favorite player who wasn't a bona fide star growing up? Mine was D-backs Gerardo Parra. I loved watching that guy play baseball. I just want to spread the love and some lesser called names. Thank you so much for asking this question. I have a list of like 50. So I'm about to do one of those things where just dynamite pulls. So I need to take a drink of water before I rattle off these names. Little criteria for how I chose position players. If you were like the sixth hitter and you were like the third or fourth best player on your team, I loved you. And this happened a lot. I also played a game called Sammy Sosa High Heat Baseball 2000 on the PC, and a lot of these players were on there. So there's a bunch of reasons for I like these guys, but you're going to see a lot of early 2000s, late 90s guys because I am 35 years old, and that's when you're from like 10 to 13, that is when you're the most impressionable as a baseball fan, in my opinion. So you guys want some names? I'll give you some names. Here's my favorite non-superstars. Some of these guys made all-star teams, but like they were like make an all-star team once or twice in their career type guys. John Olerud, Trot Nixon, Yeah, there's one for you. Trot Nixon, right fielder, Boston Red Sox. Corey Koski, another. I ended up meeting him later too, and he was always around the Twins, but he was always like a solid third base. I also played third base and shortstop, so like I have a little bit there of love there. Like I loved Beltre, but he's Hall of Famer, so we're going to list him. Frank Catalanato, only because, frankly, because on Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest, whenever they said Frank Catalanato, and it just stuck in my head. But he had one of those little circles, so he was really hard to hit with. Here's one: Aaron Saley, or Aaron Sale. Is it Saley? No, it's Saley. Aaron Saley. Remember that guy? Curveball from hell. Norm Charlton. What a head of hair. The 2001 Oakland A's, 102 and 60. I had a soft spot for them. So did my father. Jason Isringhausen. Remember him? He was really good, but he was gone too soon. Corey Little, another unsung hero from that A's team. Bobby Ayala, Joel Pinheiro, and Kazuhiro Sasaki. Three just obscure Mariners pitchers. Joel Pinheiro, I learned my 12-6 curveball from him. Bobby Ayala literally fell off of the camera frame when he pitched, and he was the closer. Kazuhiro Sasaki was the closer in the early 2000s for the Mariners. One of the lesser known Japanese players came over because they had Ichiro. No one cared about anyone but Ichiro. How about those for some obscure favorite teams? Trot Nixon, though. I would always, on Sammy Sosa Baseball, you could boost his stats. So, like, you could literally go in and they had, like, text fields for their whole, like, the whole stat sheet. And you could just go 9999999, and they're just the best they could possibly be. And I would do that for Trot Nixon and make him our best player every mother effing time. Good times, man. Good times. All right, into some news. It's news time. Let's get ready for some news. Never gets old. Giancarlo Stanton's hurt again. The New York Yankees slugger Giancarlo Stanton is uncertain for opening day because of tendonitis in both of his elbows. Double elbow tendonitis. When asked whether the issue would impact Stanton's ability on March 27th opener against Milwaukee Brewers, manager Aaron Boone responded, "Tough to say." Yeah, I don't think it's that tough to say. He's not going to be ready. That's in a month. There's no way. He hasn't swung in 4 weeks. And this isn't to throw shade, man. Stuff happens. Some people just like, everyone reacts to how their body feels differently, right? Some people like only want to be at their maximum level when they play. Some people just want to be playing no matter how they feel. Like that, those are honestly, there's a lot of value for both, because you don't want to go out there and be 60% of yourself and just suck. Like that's not as good of an option as people act like it is. So I don't want to throw shade at him. However, I thought this would be really interesting to that was part of this. And thank you, David, for setting me up with this. So, after being traded to the Yankees in his first season with the Yankees, he hit 38 home runs with 100 RBIs. Thumbs up. That is earning your salary. That is earning your contract. Then he missed 266 of the next 708 games. So now that we have double elbow tendonitis right now, you can add that to these injuries. All right. This is the list. I didn't know this list. This list is crazy. A series of injuries included strains of the right bicep strain, right knee strain, left hamstring twice, left quad, right ankle inflammation, and left Achilles tendonitis. So just so we're clear, we have right bicep, right knee, left hammy twice, left quad, which is on the other side of the hammy, along with right ankle and left Achilles. That is everything on your body. Now add both of your elbows to that. Like nothing here is so from the chat. Great point, Branch. So many soft tissue issues. You hear that a lot. Soft tissue. What does soft tissue mean? It literally means like muscles and tendons overstretching or not stretching enough. A lot of people have soft tissue issues like this, or like weird pulls and things. Another guy who already in a short professional career, or in a short big league career, Brian Wu of the Mariners, he has had some weird stuff because he's a pitcher. When a guy's really athletic, like so when Byron Buxton, right? When a guy's really, really athletic and really hyper mobile, athleticism and mobility are go hand in hand a lot of times. There's a lot of guys that are hyper mobile, meaning their joints go past 180 degrees. They like really flexible naturally, which makes you, when you're doing things quickly, explosive, you get out of your range a lot and you get hurt a lot. Like hyper mobile people who are tight like me are generally more durable, but they also aren't as athletic. So like that's the trade-off. And Giancarlo Stanton is a freak athlete, So sometimes freak athletes, especially in baseball, because it's such a slow grind, get hurt a lot. So, but unfortunately, Yankees fans, Stanton's hurt again, and I hope he gets healthy really soon because he's really fun to watch, and I want more of that playoff stuff, man. I want more of that playoff stuff. Incredible. We just got a couple subs I saw. Gordita Deluxe, brand new sub, Gordita Deluxe is your name. Gordita Deluxe. Thank you so much for that subscription. Appreciate you a lot. Hasn't he also had pecs, tendonitis, or strains? Probably. You guys got monster pecs, dude. Monster pectorials. So, Rendon is already on Rendon's having surgery though. We're gonna lay off Rendon. We talked about him a lot last week. It's looking like a Jacoby Ellsbury situation, and I'm sure he doesn't need to be piled on anymore. People talking about him a lot. I wish the Angels luck with Moncada. Maybe he'll get 50 games in or something. All right, next, moving on. As the Yankees are in the news quite a bit today, Marcus Stroman reported to camp last Friday after missing the team's first 2 days of workouts after physicals. Now, we know not too long ago, it was asked about the starting rotation, possibly moving to the pen, because their starting rotation, which we will talk about in a little bit, is looking pretty full at the moment, and he's on the outside looking in. He said, "I'm not a bullpen guy. I won't pitch in the bullpen. I'm a starter." I agree with him. One thing about Marcus Stroman that you guys all need to know, and that I really appreciated to him, he sticks to his guns, and you know where he stands. It's never wishy-washy with him. You know where you stand with him, and that is really refreshing sometimes. Also, he took hard stances on things, and a lot of times those hard stances were in the benefit of the team, like all the players. He was saying out loud what everyone else wished they could, but we didn't have the courage to do it, and then he would do it. So like having that guy in your clubhouse, I found was it was just not, we knew a guy who would speak up. We knew we had a guy who would speak up, and that was nice because not every team's like that. That said, Cashman said, I agree with him. I see he is a starter. So let's see how everything plays out. 6 weeks of spring training. Basically saying, let's see if someone gets hurt. And he slots right in, which happens a lot. Not everyone's ready right out of the gate. And they don't have a ton of depth behind him. Like there's no young guy who's like going to take his spot. So it's kind of him, and then there's Gap, and then there's some other like replacement level stuff. So he's going to get an opportunity if it presents itself. Problem is, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And yeah, but he didn't show up for the first 2 days of workouts. Not a great look. A lot of people are up in arms about that, but I need you to be very clear. I need to be very clear here because I did this once as well. According to the CBA, every year there is a mandatory report date. Actually, so technically, according to the CBA, spring training is optional because you're not paid a salary. You are not paid salaries. You're given a stipend that does not cover living at all. Like everyone's paying out of the ass for living. Even I think it's like $1,300 a week or something, but like a rental down there is like 20 grand for, like, not kidding, just a normal Airbnb is like $18,000 for a month because it's spring training and they know they can charge that. So, outside of getting a tiny apartments are $5 grand for the month. Like it's the only way to make any money that way. So anyway, I'm not going to complain about that all day, but I will say not showing up for the first 2 days of workouts when pitchers and catchers have shown up, not a great look, not putting you in a good position. However, you do not have to be there until the whole team. You don't have to. Like, you can show up a day late if you need to. And he chose to not do that. But I guess they've talked to him and they're moving forward with it. So, but right out the gate, we got Giancarlo Stanton going down. We got Marcus Stroman not being the happiest, but I have a feeling that he's just going to slot in and he's going to be healthy. And he also lost his house this offseason. So let's all remember that too. He's had a lot going on. Just if you pile on, I don't know what my job looks like this year. Like, he just can't think about that right now. His house in Malibu got burned down in the wildfires, which I can't even imagine. I can't physically imagine coming to grips with that. And I feel for them so much. Like, I would be like, I'd be in shock. So dealing with that stuff has been an absolute nightmare, I'm sure, as well. And the Yankees continue on. Aaron Boone. Response to the Dodgers throwing out shade. Now, a lot of you guys may have seen as of late that there was, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, Joe Kelly, who likes to go, this was actually far long ago. That was probably a couple months ago. Likes to go on local radio stations a lot and threw out a little bit like, yeah, the Yankees look terrible. Like, they had nothing. Chris Taylor also jumped on. So I kind of just want to read the transcript of this one out to you, like it's the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, trial. So this is what he says. All right, in regards to this situation, Aaron Boone responds. Boone says, "I don't like hearing the Dodgers trash talk. I don't like hearing it, the Dodgers trash talk. But the reality is we didn't play our best in the series and they won. They have that right to say whatever. Hopefully we're in a position next year to handle things with a little more class. We're in that position next year and handle things with a little more class. The reality is it's a great team. It's a great organization with a lot of great people, and I happen to know and respect too. A few people sounding off isn't necessarily how I want to draw it up, but they're the champs. They have that right. Well done." This was in response to Chris Taylor's comment. Everyone saw it. The kind of shit down their leg. I mean, he's not wrong. It was like one thing after the next. I think our energy in the dugout was kind of feeding off of that. It was like, all we got to do is put the ball in play right now. Joe Kelly said, "We were saying it every single game. We just let them throw the ball into the infield. They can't make a play." I mean, you saw Shohei got an extra base off going to third off a sloppy Gleyber Torres play. It's well known. We all knew. We're the Dodgers. We know every little detail. But past that, it was a fun series. Damn. Aaron Boone then continued on and said, "You don't hear that from the Freddie Freemans, the Mookie Betts, the Shohei Ohtanis, the Clayton Kershaws, or whatever in the world. Sometimes they're coming off the drunkenness of winning a world championship. Some guys are more inclined to spout off and be a little more colorful than others. Again, that's their right. They won, hopefully. We're in that position to do things better." And what he means by that is Chris Taylor and Joe Kelly, maybe not the ones to say things, but you know what my opinion is? Anyone can say anything. Because I don't think we would be taking it any better if it were Mookie or Shohei or Freddie. I think we would be saying the exact same things we're saying now, and it hurt a little bit, and I didn't like it. But yeah, there's a little Real Housewives drama for you. So, Yankees, a lot going on. First couple days in spring, we're talking about all kinds of stuff that isn't related to this season yet. But I hope it's always as eventful because guys like me got stuff to talk about. Now, do you think that he took it well, but did the fans? I'll let you go look that up. My last manager and buddy, Mark Kotsay, signed a extension through 2028 with the Oakland Athletics recently. He extended that deal. The deal was announced today coincided with the team's first full squad workout of spring. Kotsay 49's fourth season with athletics. They are getting better. They won 19 games from my last year. My bad. My bad. More the next year. So they won 69 last year and 50 the year before that. They are poised, I believe, to make another jump forward with the likes of Brent Rooker being on contract now with a nice little team friendly. They added Luis Severino. They added Jeffrey Springs. Lawrence Butler took a step forward and was a G last year. So it's a good team, a lot of good players. Shea Langoliers is due for 35 pumps. I think they are positioned to, not to make a run for the division per se, but possibly, just possibly, making it interesting. And, we know they have Mason Miller. They got pretty much the same starting rotation coming back with the addition of Jeffrey Springs and Luis Severino. So it just got better with some guys with another year under their belt, JP Sears. And then Kotsay doesn't have to worry about it. So good for him. Guy deserves it. Guy works really, really hard. And he was, frankly, I had a lot of crap going on, and he was one of the most understanding people. It's the best I could have possibly hoped for. Except for that one time when I came off the aisle, I was like, hey, could I not go in? Could I avoid like leverage just for one outing? And he said, sure. And then I went immediately in and threw the seventh in a game where we were winning. And he's like, hey man, I know you told me that, but like, I don't know what else to do. I'm like, it's fine. It's good. You tried. So, Mark Kotsay back with the A's for another couple years. He's going to be holding down Sacktown the whole time, but he's a Cali guy. So I'm sure he's fine with it. It's okay. And our last little tidbit here, Mike Trout on the move. He is now your favorite right fielder. Ooh, is Sacramento hitters or pitchers park? It's kind of even. It's not too bad. It can get really bad, but it's not too horrible. We have Mike Trout, protecting Mike Trout, keeping him healthy. That is number one goal for the Los Angeles Angels, because we know it's not get starting pitchers. That's never been on the list. But I think that everyone in their organization, I think that every baseball fan all around the world wants Mike Trout to be on the field, and this might be a way to do it. Put him in right, make him not have to cover as much ground, DH a little bit, and keep him healthy, which leaves center field open to two options: Mickey Moniak, left-handed stick, or Joe Adell. Joe Adell has been better in the last 12 months or so and established himself more as an everyday player, but it's not like he's being pushed out of the way for somebody else. They're kind of have to fill that gap in. But Moniak's been good too. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. He has slowed down a little bit too. So he's never won a Gold Glove in center fielder, which surprised the hell out of me. I didn't know that because I always felt like he was close. But anything that keeps Mike Trout on the field for 145 games in a year, I'm game for. You could put him in a bubble between games, and I'd be cool with that. I don't think he would be, but I would be. So think about it, maybe. But here's to Mike, and here's to hoping that he continues to absolutely destroy the AL West for the near future. And that concludes today's news. Yeah. Yes. Hello, everybody. Everyone I hadn't seen. Any chance he moves to first base or DH? I don't know. First base. Center outfielders don't necessarily move to the infield well, except for Bryce Harper. Maybe he has got to go to right field first. Then he can go to first. Maybe. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I thought you were going to say Trout got traded. No. I don't even know how you would do that. I don't know. I don't even know how that would be possible. You can't move that guy. He's got way too much money on the books and way too many injury concerns at this moment. But that was a good question. Trout is truly the modern day Mickey Mantle with way less of an alcohol problem. Yeah, maybe. I hope so. Yeah, there's a lot of right fielders. You're right. Right field's pretty stacked. All right, guys, let's get in to our main story of the day. Ranking all 30 MLB rotations for 2025. Now, a few caveats, some things I need you to know before we get into these. I used predictions made by Bleacher Report for these rotations. That article came out 1 week ago today. So there's some things have changed, like Nick Pivetta went to the, Padres, and there's a couple recommendations for some older gentlemen, aka Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, that are out there that are quality options that are probably going to get picked up in the first week or two of spring, in my opinion, and they can be slotted in. So there's some caveats in there as if, but I rank these things not by performance per se, but three main criteria, guys. I have three main criteria. I try to have three main criteria every time I do a breakdown, and this can be a little bit different than you're used to. When you go on MLB TV, usually it's like, oh, I'm going to rank these based on how I feel about it, and I think these guys are good, and I'll compare them to each other. But I have the three categories. We're always going to do three categories. I feel like it's a nice little, way to group these things. And those categories are: we go by innings. Of the 5 projected, honestly, it's 5 to 6 projected, the depth. Of those guys who are projected to throw the most innings for that team, how many total innings do they go deep into games? Is this a 5 and dive rotation, or is there a bunch of injury concern here? Are there guys that have not gone very far into their season? Like, for example, Tyler Glasnow has only thrown 130 maximum in his career. Like, that's not a true ace. So I give them a grade based on how many innings I think their starting pitching can cover on the year. The next category is depth. How many options do you have? How many injuries can you weather? And how quality are those options? That's a little bit of a crapshoot. And to be honest, there's a lot of like, and maybe some relievers or starters, other pitchers that might come off the IL at some point this year that will add more depth. So they're hurt now, but they're projected to come out, and we talked about all those guys last week. So, like, for example, Spencer Strider is going to add depth to his team, even though he's not on it right now, right? That kind of thing. And then the last category is the playoff 3. Now, anyone who doesn't know what the playoff 3 is, you need 3 you need 3 studs when you go into the playoffs. If you have 3 really good starting pitchers, you are well positioned to go on a run in the playoffs. 3. 5 is nice. 4 is great. 5 is wonderful. But usually it's 3. You need 3 workhorses, and then you can work through game 4. You can make a run that way. But you need 3 guys to do their job and not throw clunkers. Okay. And then I graded every team. If I took their top 3, how do I rank their top 3 in a playoff series? So those 3, and then it gives me an overall score. So I hope that makes a lot of sense. Oh my God, this is going to take forever. All right, here we go. Let's just jump right into it. So, because there's 30 teams, the bottom 10, I put into a graph. So get ready for my creation that I made in Photoshop just for you. Number 30, I have the Chicago White Sox. Overall, F. Let me just hit you with some names. I have their names here of some of the guys that are on their team. Let's just put it this way. Bleacher Report's guess for their ace would be Jose Quintana, and he hasn't signed there. They have Martin Perez, Jonathan Cannon, Bryce Wilson, Drew Thorpe, and Emberg. So, Chicago White Sox. FFDF. D in innings, because Martin Perez. 29, Colorado Rockies. Overall D minus, D minus, C minus in innings, and F. The only reason they have C minus in innings is because they still have the 5 guys they've had: Kyle Freeland, Marquez, Santanzella, who were both hurt last year. I already said Freeland, Gomber. It's the same guys they've had literally for the last 6 years, and they had the worst ERA in the league last year. But they get to go ahead of the White Sox because everyone does for everything. I'm just going to throw the White Sox at the end for everything. Milwaukee Brewers. Now, I know you're not going to like this. I know you don't like this D+. Right? I know you don't like it. But tell me the last time the Milwaukee Brewers were projected to be and not very good and were really good. Last year. I was wrong last year. I hope I'm wrong this year. They have Freddie Peralta. Right now, their number 2 is Nestor Cortez. DL Hall is nasty, though. They got a lot of guys that are unproven, and we will see what it comes out to. I just think they were kind of left at the end. I'll talk to Peralta, Cortez, DL Hall, Aaron Savali. Like, Freddie Peralta is a great one, but like if Nestor Cortez and Aaron Savali are your 2 and 3 for the playoffs, you see where I'm getting at here? And then we have Woodruff, who can't stay healthy. A bunch of guys who can't stay healthy. A bunch of relievers. Aaron Ashby can't stay healthy as a starter, but he can as a reliever. Like, the options aren't quite there like they used to be, but they are going to be better than this. I know they are. But they're hard to project. So I gave up, all right? Washington Nationals, number 27. Again, unproven. Now, could they be much better than this? Of course they could. Mackenzie Gore's nasty. Josiah Gray comes off. He's good. Irvin could be even better, right? But you haven't seen a lot out of them yet. They have potential, but they're young, and there's not a lot of track record there. And innings to C-, that is strictly because of Trevor Williams. Then in 26, we have the Miami Marlins because they're getting Sandy back. Now, if they didn't have Sandy, the Marlins would be last. They have no Luzardo now. They have Sandy Alcantara in the TP3, taken to a C+. But their number 2 right now is Ryan Weathers. But then again, Myers could be incredible too, right? But we don't know yet. We got to see him actually take that step forward. Lots of potential, not a lot of on paper happening yet. But there's not. This is the 26th team. They're a C+. So I'm pretty complimentary to the rest of the teams on this list. All right. And Yuri Perez won't be back till halfway through the season. But once he comes back, that adds even more depth. Their depth would increase here, but I don't know how long it's going to be, and I couldn't find much on him. Number 25, St. Louis Cardinals. Sonny Gray. Innings eater, Sonny Gray. B+. C-, Sonny Gray. Then they're rocking Steven Matz. Who knows if he'll be healthy. Miles Michaelis strikes out 5 per 9. He's just not dominant. Right? Palante, and who was the last guy I had here? I know these off the top of my head. And Eric Fetty. It's just there's not a lot of missing bats there. There's a lot of I hope they hit it at somebody. And Sonny Gray's the only guy I'm feeling good about in a playoff game. And that's what it comes down to. Remember, we have those 3 categories. I went on the 3 categories. This isn't overall. This isn't just like how I feel. And they've had injury risk, and they're older. At least in the Michaelis, Sonny Gray, and Eric Fetty side of things. And Matz. They're older, and they've had injury problems. And I don't know a lot about McGreevy and Munoz, who are on the back end. But they might be good. They might be. Number 24, the A's. The A's are running Luis Severino. I love Luis Severino, but I don't think he's an ace. I don't think he's an ace. I think he's a 3, and he will be their ace. Jeffrey Springs, we'll see how he does with the A's, but he's got a sneaky fastball that he can throw up in the zone at 91, and guys can't hit it. But then you add Sears, Spence, and Joey Estes, JT Ginn, Beto, who throws cheese. Hogan Harris could pop in there. So they have a good amount of depth, and it's just it's pretty good across the board. So I would need to see more out of JP Sears. I would need to see more out of like Mitch Spence in order to up these numbers. But that's like, if you could just sit in a nice little C there, feeling pretty good about it. Texas Rangers, overall, a C. C+ in depth, simply because we're still rocking DeGrom, who I love Jacob DeGrom more than anybody in the planet, but he's hurt a lot. All the time, actually. So who knows how many innings he can throw? I just don't know. When he's healthy, he's the man. That's why he has an A. If the top 3 of him, Eovaldi, and Gray are feeling good and cooking at the end of the year, that carries them. But the problem is, all 3 of those guys got hurt. And there's not a lot back in the back end, in my opinion. There's just not. There's not a lot of depth in the back. They're going to be kind of mixing, matching, trying to get is it Bradford? Where is it? Sorry. These are in the back. They're in the wrong order. Tyler Mahle, he's been hurt. Kumar Rocker, he was hurt. Bradford, he was hurt. Leiter has not been great, and Adrian Hauser's really struggled in the year. Those are their options right now. So outside of DeGrom and Eovaldi, who are both in their late 30s, it's John Gray. You agree? You know what? I don't care if you agree, okay? I'm right. Angels, 22. Overall, C+. We are rocking Kikuchi, Tyler Anderson, Soriano, Hendricks, probably Silseth or Dakota Hudson at the back. I think Silseth's hurt. I'm not sure how hurt. I don't think he got surgery, but I don't know. I can't remember. There's a lot. This was a lot. This took a long time. Okay. Kyle Hendricks. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get there. Soriano's got a good chance. And I don't know if Kikuchi's a flash in the pan when he leaves the Astros, that things aren't going to be the same. Tyler Anderson's probably going to be their ace, but playoff 3, Kikuchi, Anderson, Soriano. There's some experience there at least. But overall, it's a C+ for me. Wait, we didn't get to the Twins. Sorry. Minnesota Twins, 21. I know, I'm sorry. Shay, I'm so sorry. The Minnesota Twins are 21 for me. This is starting rotation. Remember, their bullpen's really good. But their starting rotation is never something that we go into the season like super excited about. When I was there, I would say we were probably in the 20s. Guys were overperforming. But there was a lot of like throw 5 innings, give it to the bullpen going on. That's probably what's going to happen again. Outside of Pablo Lopez, who took a step back last year, we have Chris Paddock, who was did not ever thrown deep into a season ever as a number 5. Joe Ryan ended the season hurt last year. We'll see how he feels. But if he's dialed, he's good. Bailey Ober, again. Stuff-wise, it's hard to figure out. He's got the Chris Young thing going a little bit, though he is a good pitcher. Like, these guys aren't like take over a game type guys. They're eat innings type guys. So I think they're going to eat innings pretty well. That's why I give them a B in innings. But they don't have a ton of depth. Woods Richardson, though, could be great. And if Festa's their 5th or their 6th guy, there's not a lot of nastiness coming. So they're kind of leaning on these guys quite a bit. All right. Now let's get into the middle 10. Let's get into the exciting. This is 10 to 19, or sorry, 11 to 19, 11 to 20. Actually, it's 11 to 20. Let's get the middle 10 in there. Let's go. At number 20, we have the San Francisco Giants. Stay with me. Stay with me. Don't panic. Nobody panic. The only reason that I'm worried about the Giants, and it's probably been the thing that's hurt them in the past, is literally hurt, people being hurt. So we have Logan Webb, who I'm a huge fan of. He's their ace. Robbie Ray, coming off TJ, hasn't thrown a full season in 2 years. Justin Verlander was hurt for the last 2 months of last year, and he's 41 years old. Jordan Hicks, hurt at the end of the year. Has never thrown more than like 120 innings in a season. Kyle Harrison is just not performed as well as we think he could have. None of his pitches really grade out very well for me. And I'm not convinced he's going to find that like elite pitch. And he might get hot by Lucchesi for a bit. It's possible. But then we have Joey Lucchesi, we got Black, and we got Roop on the back end. Now, all of that said, let's talk a little bit about not a ton of depth, but who knows? It's up in the air for innings because Logan Webb throws lots of innings, but no one else really does. But their playoff 3, if these top 3 guys are healthy and good, I'll take them, right? Logan Webb. So you sneak into the playoffs, if they end up having a great year, then I'm feeling pretty good about the 3 guys I have going into the playoff series. So that's where they get a little bit of a boost. The Reds are interesting as well. They're also C+ overall, but they're a little bit more across the board. They have Hunter Green. He has no playoff experience. Brady Singer, it's not a number 2 for me, but he's listed as number 2 for them. Brady Singer's got like 4 starter type of stuff. Andrew Abbott still can't explain his success, frankly. He's got some middling pitches. He's a solid throw strikes kind of guy, but nothing's really over the top good. Nick Martinez is going to be in the bullpen or starting. Who knows? He can fill in. He's kind of a I'll do everything type of guy. Not a bad option, and he's a veteran. And Nick Lodolo has the best stuff, or he's close with Hunter, but he's got some of the best stuff in this rotation, but can't stay healthy. So Nick Lodolo, though, could be the key to this. And then same with Ashcraft. If he sneaks in, another guy with great stuff, hasn't quite figured it out yet. So when these guys figure it out, I'll be really excited to watch them. At number 18, the New York Mets. I'm sorry, but this was before Montas went down. So you got Montas down. We're going to throw Tyler McGill, slide him up into 5. We got Kodai Senga, who missed all year last year. So we'll see how rusty he is. Shamanai is going to be great. I'm confident in him. Frankie Montas is now hurt. And honestly, I'm not the biggest Frankie Montas fan. I don't think he has thrown near his potential in like 4 years. He's just been underwhelming since he left the A's. And then we got David Peterson, who pitched really well last year, but got a little lucky. I know DP pretty well. He is got good stuff, and he could be electric, and he was a big reason for their big run. So I think he's going to be good too, and I think he's going to set a record for his career in innings. And then Clay Holmes has been a reliever for like 3 years, so we'll see. But he's added the changeup. I'm excited about that. So potentially a great team, potentially. But again, it's kind of like going into last year. We're like, some of these guys got to pan out, and then they did pan out, and then they went to the NLCS. So like any of these teams could just pan out. I'm just not confident that they will. Cleveland Guardians starting pitching. Now, if you disagree with this, I don't know what to tell you. They have had an underwhelming starting rotation forever. Not forever. That's a lie. Back when they had Clevenger and Bauer and Kluber, that was pretty fun. And Bieber, that was a pretty good rotation. But with Bieber starting the year on the shelf, you got Tanner Bybee, Gavin Williams, who still waiting to see how he pans out as a starting pitcher. One thing concerns me, he starts the game at 98, and he ends the game at 92. That's not something you want to see from a starting pitcher. Ben Lively, quality pitcher, kind of just average stuff, and dip dives and dodges him a little bit. I don't know much about Luis L. Ortiz, and Tristan McKenzie really, really struggled last year. He's got good stuff, but he needs to take a big step forward. Right now, I'm banking on them just being like solid, being okay, and them relying on running the bases, eking out runs, and going to that bullpen early. That is what they're going to do. So that's how they're going to win games this year consistently. 16, Baltimore Orioles. Now, that's kind of high. Honestly, going into this, I thought I was going to put them lower because I've been very disappointed in their moves. Right now, they have Zach Eflin listed as their opening day starter. Zach Eflin can't be your opening day starter. He's a good pitcher. He's a solid pitcher. I got to be honest. Early in his career, watching him, I would watch him. I was like watching paint dry. It wasn't very exciting. But he gets the job done. But he's not a strikeout guy. He's a put-it-in-play type of guy. He wants to throw innings. That gave him a little bit of benefit. B+ on the innings because they have Charlie Morton, who has made 30 starts for like 31 years in a row. Dean Kramer could be good, and we'll see what we get out of Sugano. But it says Sugan, but Sugano. Grayson Rodriguez, though, needs to stay healthy. But then again, you add in Bradish, and I believe Means got DFA'd, right? I think. Can't keep track of all this crap. If they had Bradish, this would be a different story. If they signed Burns, it'd be a different story. If they went and traded for Crochet, it'd be a different story. But they didn't. They didn't do any of those things, and they're just okay having a solid middle of the road type of rotation. Oh, Means signed with Cleveland. Well, that's better for their depth. Give them a little boost, even though he won't be back till August. It said so. Means wow, good for them. Okay, number 15, San Diego Pods. And this is where it started to get really hard, guys. I want you to know. It got really hard to do this. From this point on, this is where I got stuck. I was like, man, I think any of these 15 could be in the top 10 if you could make a case. So we have Padres. We had Cease Darvish King. At the time, Turnbull was thrown, but that will replace him with Pavetta. And then Matt Waldron kind of bringing in the back end here. Depth-wise, though, after Waldron, they're getting a little thin. Good bullpen, really good bullpen. So they still have a really good bullpen, San Diego does. I think they're going to be carried by that, even without Tanner Scott, with Robert Suarez and Jason Adam and that other dude who punches out the world. They're going to be fine. But they're a little bit thin still, so I hope they don't trade Cease. Cease is... And then Darvish is 38 or 39 years old, like at some point, right? And he's been hurt a little bit. So That's who I have in at 15. Now let's get into these top little 14. Let's quick do this one. Toronto Blue Jays, throw them some love. Max Scherzer. Let's go. B minuses across the board. Solid, good rotation, only because I think Kevin Gossman's going to pitch better. Jose Barrios is going to pitch a little bit better than he did last year. They still have Bassett. Bassett and Scherzer back together. We got the old men talking pitching. They make pitching staffs so that they're both around better. And then Bowden Francis is exciting. I think he's a fun guy to watch. I think he's going to lock it up. Then they have Manoah. It's hurt kind of on the side. And some other options. So not a ton of depth, but a little bit of depth. And I just think Gossman's going to pitch better, which moves them into the top 15. That's what I think. But Manoah is hurt. Manoah had Tommy John, so Manoah is still hurt for another probably half the season, I think, or a little bit more than that. Number 12. Wait. I'm confused. Oh, I didn't talk about the Royals. Number 13, Kansas City Royals. Cole Reagans. Big fan of Cole Reagans. Still think he's going to be in the running for the Cy Young this year. Seth Lugo, he builds on last year. I don't think he has as good of a year as he had last year. He's not going to be that on nails, but he's going to be really good. And Michael Wacha, he's the one for me that I'm like, he got the extension, or they re-signed him. We'll see if there's a little bit of regression. I think that Wacha will come down to earth a little bit. And then Chris Bubik and Lorenzen, it just gets thin. Bubich played out of the bullpen last year. One of those two guys is going to pitch out of the bullpen probably. Henrik Singer was interesting. And I'm not super familiar with the guys coming up, but I'm assuming they have some pretty good guys coming up. Kansas City Royals, though, solid, rock solid team. Not a ton of depth, but solid team with potential to really eat some innings. And I think their bullpen's pretty freaking good. So I think this team's gonna be pretty good. Kansas City, they're gonna be pretty dangerous. Pittsburgh Pirates, number coming in at 12, anchored by their ace Paul Skenes. Now the only reason that they're this high is because innings wise they can only give me a D because we got Paul Skenes who's on an innings limit. We got Mitch Keller who does a pretty good job. He usually gets like 160, 65. Jared Jones only threw like 90. Bailey Falters maxed out at like 130. And Johanna Oviedo has said bounce back. So none of these guys have even gotten even remotely close to 180 innings. Like nobody has. So I don't know how deep in the innings. They're still really young. But potentially in a playoff series, if it's a healthy Jared Jones, Paul Skenes, and Mitch Keller, and they feel good and they get into a playoff series, that's scary as hell. That's scary as hell. I would love to see Paul Skenes pitch in a playoff game. Let's just put it that way. We're going to talk about him a little bit later, but he's got so much going on that they've got a lot going on. They're on the up and up, and maybe I'm just being bullish on them. Maybe I'm just excited. It's fun. Number 11, just missing. Guys, these guys were 9, 10, 11, 10, 9, 10, 11, 11, 10, 9, 9, 11, 10. So we're going by track record. There's just a lot of guys who are hurt. Now, I think they're going to end up being like by the end of this year, I think this is going to work out a lot. I think they're going to be really good. But they still have stuff to do before that happens. So let me give you a little example. Garrett Crochet, nails. He's never thrown more than 120 innings. Tanner Houck, he's never thrown more than 135 innings. Walker Buehler, still, it remains to see Walker Buehler comes back to old Walker Buehler status, has not thrown a lot of innings in a long time. So the top three guys haven't thrown a lot of innings lately. Brian Bayo, I think, is overrated. I'll just say it. He throws a 97 mile an hour, very hittable sinker, and does not miss near as many bats as I thought he should. He got that kind of young Pedro kind of title early, and I think he's fine. I think he's a big league pitcher, but I don't think he's near as dominant as he could be. And then we have Cutter Crawford bringing it in the back, or Giolito, or running a 6-man rotation. They have a ton of depth, though. So we have Giolito coming back. They have a ton of depth out in the bullpen. But again, Giolito hasn't pitched in a while. Cutter Crawford hasn't thrown a ton of innings. So I just don't know how many innings they have out of their best guys. But if they're all good, We have Walker Buehler, Garrett Crochet, and Tanner Houck ready for playoffs with Bayo for 4 or Giolito for 4. Pretty freaking good. B- playoff 3 right now. I'll take it. Red Sox are good. I think this is going to be B plus by the end of the year. That's what I think. Houck threw 170 last year, right? Houck threw 170 last year. But he'd never thrown more than 115 before that. All right. And now it's time. For the top 10. I didn't mean to do the buzzer thing. I'm sorry. Here's the top 10. Let's see if you guys can guess. See how good y'all are at guessing. At number 10, the Atlanta Braves. Little thin on depth, but a little high on good top of the rotation. We have a C in depth, B plus in innings. Chris Sale, you're reigning Cy Young. Reynaldo Lopez was nasty last year. Spencer Schwellenbach is gross. Grant Holmes, something to be desired. And then we have Lance Lynn. They had Lance Lynn signing when they haven't filled in that fifth spot. But this could be Smith. I have his name right here. Smith Shaver or Bryce Elder could slide in, or Ian. Oh my God, Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson could slide in there. See, there's a lot of options. They have a lot of options, and then they have Spencer Strider coming back. Inevitably, Spencer Strider brings this back. If Spencer Strider were healthy right now, the playoff 3 would go to a B plus or an A for me. Strider's going to change the deal, and they become very good when he goes in. But we don't know when he's going to be back. It's projected for May. They're kind of wishy-washy. They're not giving me a lot of confidence on that time frame. So I don't know, but I have them at 10 because I think that's still a good rotation, and I think that their lineup is going to bounce back a little bit from last year and be a little bit better. As of right now, though, Chicago Cubs are number 9. Yeah. Shohei Managa, healthy all year. Justin Steele, that guy is underrated. Justin Steele is a very quality arm that eats innings, and so does Taillon. I am excited about their ability to eat innings in the top 3. They got experience, and they got weird looks. There's 2 lefties and a righty. I think they're all kind of pitching closer to their potential right now, too. So their ceiling isn't quite as high as a lot of these other teams, but they have been more consistent. And then you add Matthew Boyd, who ended the season really strong last year, Colin Ray. These 2 guys are innings eaters. They're going out and they're eating innings, and then Javier Assad could sneak in too. So, it's just solid kind of all the way through. It's just kind of solid. That's why we're B's all the way across. And they have some other guys waiting in the wings. A couple other guys behind Javier Assad. They could do the same thing. So, Chicago Cubs, I'm a little high on them. I don't know if Shota's going to do the same thing, but I think Justin Steele is inevitably going to be their ace. Number 8, the Detroit Tigers. Reigning Cy Young, Tarek Skubal, depth, B+. Jack Flaherty signed. Boom. Alex Cobb, number 3. Reese Olson, solid. He's going to get better. I think that inevitably Jackson Jobe takes that spot from Casey Mize, but Casey Mize is a great depth piece. These guys can throw. They have starters that can pitch. I think Jackson Jobe's going to be gross, though. So, Cy Young, really good pitcher. Nasty. Quality. These 2 guys together, one of these guys could move up this list really fast, and I like their bullpen. Also, it's nice to cheer for the Tigers. A little part of me, that is. Matt Manning. Matt Manning's also in that conversation. Yes. Matt Manning's also, throw him down below Jobe. I just put up to 6. There's 8 for most teams. But Matt Manning also has thrown really well. He's just constantly thrown in and out of that 5th spot. But I'm a big fan. Oh, yeah, and Brent Herter, too. That's another good call. Thank you. All right. Now we're getting into our top 7. Houston Astros. Now, I need you to completely ignore all of these typos. I don't know if I was drunk when I did this. I might have been. Framber Valdez. Guy's been good every year, man. He's good every year. He's sneaky good every freaking year. He's their ace. Hunter Brown was freaking nails at the end of the last year. This team keeps just pushing out the top 3 guys, and Ronald Blanco threw a freaking no-hitter. These three guys are just always pitching way better than they should. They also have Christian Javier coming back. They have Lance McCullers coming back. JP Francis hurt, but he's coming back. This is supposed to be Hayden Wisniewski. Instead of put 2 Ks, which is just really not great. But I think he's a good pickup. JP France probably gets pushed out. Spencer Arrighetti, he threw really well at the end of last year. So it's one of those things where Arrighetti came in and took Verlander's spot and pitched really well at the end of last year. I don't think people noticed how well Spencer threw. He did a really good job. Yeah, these guys are number 8 because I just don't have it in my heart. They came back and they won the division again last year. I don't have in my heart to count them out yet. Do I think they'll take a step back? Yes. I think they're one guy away from breaking down, but they also have a bunch of depth like they always freaking do, and it's disgusting. Number 6, Tampa. An A in depth because it's Tampa. I hate it. But every single guy they got coming throws 99, and it's got some sort of freaking banger breaking ball until they get hurt, inevitably. Shane McClanahan's coming back off Tommy John. We don't know how many innings he's going to throw, but he is a true ace. I like their playoff 3 and Shane McClanahan, Taj Bradley, and Ryan Pepio. Ryan Pepio is a steal. That guy is good. I think he's going to be even better this year. He's got nasty stuff. Taj Bradley was way better. He faded down the stretch, but we saw some really good stuff out of Taj Bradley. Now I don't know how many innings they're going to throw with Shane coming off Tommy John, and they always have someone getting hurt: Drew Rasmussen, Zach Littell, and Shane Baz. And Baz, who knows? Like, injuries are their problem, so that's why their innings aren't great. But if they are healthy, they have good depth, and they got good playoff 3. That gives them a B+. I'll take them in a playoff series. They just have to get there, and that's the question. Are they going to stay healthy enough to get there? And now top 5, Arizona Diamondbacks coming in at top 5. Now, any one of these teams could probably move up or down 2 spots. Like, you can make a case for anybody. Really, they're really good. But in terms of big league talent, this team is scary. Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly is your 1, 2, 3. Eduardo Rodriguez, healthy Eduardo Rodriguez. We don't know how many innings he's going to give us, but if he's healthy, he's really good. And Brandon Pfaadt has thrown really well. Then they have Henry. They got Jordan Montgomery, who was signed to that big contract still. Who knows if he bounces back. Lots of depth on this team. I like the depth. The playoff 3 goes down to a B+ just because of the way that Merrill Kelly pitches. He's more of a here it is, hit it type guy. Though they did get to the World Series with those guys pitching. So who's to say they can't do it again? This is a really quality starting pitching staff. Really quality. And then adding Corbin Burns kind of really locked it in. I think Zach Gallen being a number 2 on a team should be really scary for the NL West. Number 4, Philadelphia Phillies. Zach Wheeler-Arnola, you heard of him. I know you have. Ranger Suarez. Same top 3 they've had, even though Christopher Sanchez arguably threw better than Ranger last year. Interchangeable. They're very similar pitchers. Christopher taking a step forward big. Your wild card here, Jesus Luzardo. If he's healthy, that's 3 scary lefties throwing bowling ball sinkers. And then we have the big prospect Andrew Painter waiting in the wings, ready to go. That's a good 6. That's a good 6. That's like a really solid. The Phillies, in my opinion, still going into 2025 might be outside of the Dodgers. But the Dodgers can go over there by themselves. We're going to talk about the other 29 teams. Outside of the Dodgers, Phillies are still one of the most complete teams that there are. Brandon Marsh is going to go to center. I like the Phillies. I like that Stott is just taken second. I like that what's his name at third is taken third. I like that they all kind of know where they are. There's not a lot of moving pieces. They do what they do, and now it's just executing at the right time. And that goes the same for their rotation. So that is number 4. They've been a top 5 for a few years. They're going to continue to do that. Alec Boehm, thank you. Well, here's your top 3. New York Yankees. Garrett Cole is healthy. Bona fide ace. Max Fried, huge pickup. Max Fried and Garrett Cole are going to be terrifying if they're both healthy. Honestly, back-to-back 2 weirdest looks, 2 wildly different looks. Then you add Rendon, who any day could throw no-hitter. Any day could walk 8, but he could throw no-hitter. He could throw a 1 ERA if he's just dialed. He's just kind of erratic sometimes. And then Louis Heel, reigning rookie of the year. Then we got Clark Schmidt. throwing cutters. And then Stroh at 6. The problem is, though, in depth, when you hit Stroh, it kind of goes, kind of falls off a cliff a little bit. So, but they're all healthy right now. I'm going to stay confident. I'm going to give you a little bit of goodwill here, Yankees fans. I think they're all going to stay healthy. They're going to be fine. Coming in number 2, who's the final 2, guys? Who do you think it is? Will Warren. Yeah, he's the next one. Number 2 is the Los Angeles Dodgers. What? Number 2? Yes. We got Yamamoto. We got Blake Snell. We got Tyler Glasnow. We got Roki Sasaki. We got Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin would count as one starter, in my opinion, right now. I love them. I really like this guy. He's got a great last name. But they've been hurt. We had a torn esophagus last year. I still don't know how that happens. Tony Gonsolin's thrown like 250 innings in 6 years as a starter, right? So there's some question marks, but there's so much depth. So these guys are number 2. They have way more depth than they ever had. They've got Kershaw coming back now. Then they got Kasparius, and they got Bryce Miller. Not Bryce. Yeah, Bryce. Bobby Miller. Bobby Miller. River Ryan's hurt, but he's around. Like a lot of young guys too that could be valuable for this team moving forward. Just tons and tons and tons of depth. The problem is innings with me. B- in innings. Like I mentioned earlier, Tyler Glasnow never thrown more than 130. Roki Sasaki coming from Japan, 6-day rotation. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I think he's going to throw more innings. Blake Snell notoriously has an innings thing. So there's no like guy who's going to throw 8. They don't have their Corbin Burns, but they're all really good. So they're stuff-wise, they're incredible. But the team that has put it all together, your Seattle Mariners. Now, when this team goes 82-80, it's going to be because of these guys. I got to stop talking shit. I don't know what's happening to me. I've been retired for a year. It's not their fault. I'm not going to give them shit. I just think it's their management's fault. But anyway, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Louis Castillo. And then you go Bryce Miller and Brian Wu. Same 5 guys. It's always those 5 guys. They all stay healthy. No one's gotten hurt yet. Now, there's a ticking time bomb. We'll see. But Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, and Louis Castillo, I'll take them as a 1-2-3 against anybody. I'll take them against the Dodgers. I'll take them against the Yankees. I'll take them against the Orioles. I'll take them against everybody. Those 3 guys. George Kirby, it is inevitable he wins a Cy Young. It is inevitable. Bryce Miller, it's just going to come down to throwing enough innings, and same with Brian Wu. But they don't let them go as deep because the other 3 guys go so deep. Like, which is kind of a weird thing. If you're Miller, you're like, come on, man, I can throw 8 every time. But you got to throw your bullpen at some point. Right? So, unfortunately, they didn't sign any position players. So runs are going to be coming at a premium, but I do believe they have the best rotation in the major leagues going into February 17th, 2025. Now, any of this could change, but this is my number 1 team this year. Is it a little bit biased? Sure. I'll say it. Uh-huh. Yes. But those are my starting rotation rankings for 2025. Let me know down in the comments what you think and why everything I said was exactly right, because I know everything. Kirby gave up the most hits. We got to throw the most innings. He did give up a lot of hits. You're right. I think he messes around a little bit too much. But stuff-wise and command-wise, it's just a matter of time. Okay. I'm going to forego the break today, and we're just going to continue on to another interesting little seg I like to call, Why Won't This Change? Every time, dude. Every flipping time. Baseball should copy hockey. I think baseball should copy hockey. All right, moving on. No, I'm just kidding. Baseball should copy hockey. Why, you ask? Well, let me tell you. The hockey recently announced, or actually didn't recently announce it. It started. It already actually went, right? It's been going. The four nations face off instead of their all-star game because hockey, like every sport, has been struggling on what to do with their all-star stuff, right? Hockey has had a pace of play problem and getting people to watch. Basically, every sport has, because we talked about this a couple weeks ago, the solve game problem is making sports kind of only have a few outcomes because of the best outcomes to win games, which makes it a little bit more boring because you don't see crazy stuff as much. And so every team struggles with, like, when games don't matter, it's even harder. Right? Because then the game looks completely different. So hockey struggled with it. Basketball struggling with it. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And baseball, too. Like, what do we do for our all-star games? The NHL is having the Four Nations Face-Off is an international ice hockey tournament organized in the National Hockey League, taking place from February 12th to the 20th, which is, we're in the middle of it right now. Temporarily replaces the NHL's annual all-star game for 2025 and features, sorry. No, this is this year, yeah. Features national teams from Canada, Finland, Sweden, and the United States. So basically, they just put the players who are in the NHL on their country teams, and they do like a little Olympics with 4 teams. Okay? Which got us thinking here at I'm Trevor May Media headquarters, at Mayday Show headquarters. What if baseball did something like this? And what would that look like? How could we do something like this, but for baseball? Because baseball's different. It's hard. You got pitchers that can only throw so many innings. You don't want to wear everybody out. So I have some ideas for you. What if we broke the teams down like this? USA, Latin America, which is Dominican Republic, Venezuela, and Puerto Rico all together, and then like Nicaragua and all the other teams, but not Mexico. No, you don't get Mexico. Then we get Pacific, which is Japan, Korea, and Australia, and Chinese Taipei, if there are players from there. Sometimes there is. And then world team. The world team, which we will include Canada, Mexico, and then everywhere else. So like you could get Curacao. You could have like the Netherlands, Germany, like the Italian team, like the WBC guys that go play for Italy and stuff. Then you go world team. You could do Europe, Canada, Mexico together. That would give you a full team. So we'd have USA, Latin America, Pacific, the Pacific team, and the world team. Would there be enough players to make the Pacific? I will actually give you some sample rosters. That's a great question. Let's talk about who would be on the teams. Here's Team Pacific. Let's just go to the thing. Here's Team Pacific. Tommy Edman. They don't have any catchers. But then again, you could get someone from actual Japan to come play, like from the MPB. Or maybe there's a crossover, right? Because it is around the same time, right? We could do that. They don't have any catchers, so that is an issue. But Connor Joe, he's Chinese. Travis Benzana, Australian. Ha-Sung Kim playing third, South Korea. Hai-Sung Kim, South Korea. Lars Nootbaar, Japan. Hangzhou Lee, Seiya Suzuki, Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Sasaki, Liam Hendricks, Australia. Kurt Suzuki, technically, I believe he has Japanese heritage, but he is Hawaiian. He could be on Pacific. Here's the world team for you. Bo Naylor, he's from Canada. Freddie Freeman, Ozzy Albies, Netherlands, which is Curacao. Xander Bogaerts, Aruba. Sedane Rafaela, Curacao. Jurickson Profar, Curacao. Tyler O'Neill, Canada. Jock Peterson, Israel, via the United States. Josh Naylor, Canada. Jameson Taillon, Canada. Cade Smith, Canada. There are plenty of Mexican players as well that could also be put into this, right? Other Jewish players are like Max Fried, Alex Bregman. Both guys could join that team via Israel. And then you could just add Great Britain in there, and then it could be anybody, right? Literally anyone. I could play for Great Britain. United States, we all know who they are, but we have Rushman, Harper, Simeon, Riley, Witt Jr., Duran, Judge, Tucker, Rooker, Skubal, and Mason Miller. Basically, we give you a 1 through 9 with a DH and then a starting pitcher and a relief pitcher, but you could add other people. Obviously, U.S. can go forever. Latin America, William Contreras, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Ketel Marte, Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, Ronald Acuna Jr., Julio Rodriguez, Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, Framber Valdez, Emmanuel Clase. Yeah, Latin America would win. They'd probably win, yeah. Yeah, I'd say they'd win. not including Curacao and Latin American stuff. Well, it's a Dutch colony, man. Curacao plays for the Netherlands in the World WBC. But yeah, Latin America is really good. So maybe we maybe America takes Puerto Rico. Like we get Correa and Lindor. But then again, US is pretty stacked too. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I like the idea of like the world and just like throwing Mexico in there. And then what you would do is you would just do, it'd be a 2-day thing, and then you just do single limb, and two teams would play. The next day they play a championship. Boom. It'd be a 2-day event. You could even do the home run derby in the first day, so you have 3 days. No, Japan would be really good too. The problem is we would need players from Japan, from the NPB, to come over. I think that's true. I think that's a good call. But what do you guys think? Should we do like a mini WBC just with players in the major leagues though? Currently, so then there's more all-stars as well. There's more fan bases. You can get more Japanese players out there and get more money, MLB. I knew someone's ears just perked up. Interesting to hear what you guys think in the comments. And it's not just Canada. Canada wouldn't be by itself. They would be on the world team. So, anywhoozle. We got another question from the audience. Oops. Before we move on to our next segment, really quickly, I want to answer this question. Hi, Trevor. Is it more common for pitchers to be relegated to run one role in their career, or is it more common to switch from starter to reliever? Short answer to this question is, as a pitcher, you want to be a starter for as long as possible. There is a reason that relievers walk around with shirts that say failed starter a lot. We all started as starters. Vast majority of pitchers, especially high school kids who were drafted out of high school, they all try starting. The goal is to have you throw as many innings as you can. When that doesn't work out, you become a reliever, and you are known as a failed starter. So there's a reason relievers make, literally, I think the average is like relievers make like on average 1/5 of what starters make in free agency in money, which is shitty, which sucks. But so yeah, it's not as common to switch back and forth. However, it is becoming more common now with the Clay Holmes, Michael Lorenzen. A lot of guys are doing it successfully. Nick Martinez is doing well with it. So it is becoming more of a flexibility thing, which is opening up ability for interesting contract situations. However, rule of thumb is try to be a starter as long as you can, and only become a reliever if you absolutely have to. That's why there's a lot of guys that like come up, they're a reliever for 2 years, like I want to start, and because there's just more opportunity to maximize your value in that role. So, Cinnabon, this is a good one. This is referring to the baseball should copy hockey thing. North America should be one team. That's a good ass team. Or if you want to do that, you got to go you would have to just do North America versus world. And then you have to go Latin America with Japan. Or you have 3 teams. Maybe you just do round robin and the top 2 teams play off in the championship, but then they would all have played already. That wouldn't be very fun to only have 3 teams. Is it? Anywho, thank you, Mr. Coffee, for the question. He asked that they asked that. I don't know. Not too here to him. They asked that in Discord. Remember, guys, join the Discord, !Sport Discord, in both chats, wherever you're watching right now, and you can ask a question too. Or you can send an email to pitches@Mayday, MaydayShow.com, or you can just comment on the YouTube video. If you comment on the YouTube video, on any YouTube video, a question, I'll probably see it. I do read a lot of comments. So if you want to ask a question, comments anywhere I put something, but your best chance is Discord. All right? All right. All right. In this week's The Internet Says section, those sound very similar. Oh, this is it. We're still there. The internet hates the NBA All-Star game. Now, we just talked about the hockey, how they changed their All-Star game. We have this year's MVP, 55-year-old Steph Curry, who's still the best player in the league somehow. And then we have a Knicks fan who is asleep. The internet blew up recently, especially this last week was All-Star week for the NBA. And the game was understandably ridiculously boring, as it usually is, because it means nothing. And it's just people shooting 40-foot three-pointers. And it's boring as hell. I haven't watched one in 10 years, but Reddit and Twitter and every single social media was like, oh my God, what is this? Even though watching 6'2" Max McClung dunk 2 basketballs at the same time, pretty cool. Dunk contest is still fun. I have a little bit of a soft spot. I used to be able to dunk. He's not 55. It was a joke. He's just been around forever. He's actually like my age. But he's still winning MVPs. So the NBA, the question was, why does this suck so bad? And why are the other sports better? What other sports that you ask? Well, a lot of people were comparing this All-Star game to the baseball All-Star game. And a lot of people, the consensus, baseball's All-Star weekend is better, or week is better than the NBA. Can people make up their mind? Every single sport's dying. How about that? Sports are dying in general. We can't just say a sport's dying and then baseball's the worst. Baseball's the worst. We got to change it. Now it's the best. It hasn't changed at all. It's the same thing. But here's what they said. Here's what the main points were. And this was compiled by Henry in the back room. He did really intense research for him. So thank you, Henry. Everyone say thank you, Henry, in the chat. Players actually try to win in the baseball one, in the baseball All-Star game, which is true. NBA, no one gives a shit. And NFL is the Pro Bowl. No one gives a shit about the Pro Bowl at all. It's after the season. The MLB All-Star game starts on time. The NBA game started 45 minutes late. What? It's entertaining. The home run derby is more entertaining than the dunk contest or skills challenges. I don't know about that one. I think that's kind of a shot in the dark here because the home run derby is different every year. Like last year's, I don't think was that exciting. I think it could have been more exciting with a different format. But I like the dunk contest. I would say they're even, but the internet seems to like the home run derby better than dunk contest. Everyone likes the Four Nations format. So I don't know why this is actually in here. That's not baseball related. Okay. And it's simple. AL versus NL every year. You know who's going to be on what teams. You know who you're going to see. And in the NBA, they're like, oh, let's let 2 random celebrities pick the teams. Or let's let Shaq. Let's pick it like we're in, we're in a school gymnasium or we're at a YMCA, which I get why that sounds fun. But then it turns into a pickup basketball game where no one's trying. You know what I mean? That's actually what's creating the nonchalantness of it is the choosing. And we don't do that in baseball. So shout out to the internet for giving baseball its chops the first time. But the caveat is it was in context of hating on another sport. So baseball gets props for its All-Star weekend because everyone hates the other ones. Competitive horse would be more exciting? I think so, man. I think you're right. Horse is awesome. Did everyone see, by the way, I don't have a clip for this. Did everyone see the clip of the ball boy at the UNC Tar Heels game hitting 3 half-court shots in a row? It was the most electric thing I've ever seen. You can't really not try in baseball, so to speak. Can you imagine, pitchers are going out there throwing 86? Which MLB player can win at the dunk comp? Jake Diekman. Caleb Thielbar. Not kidding. They're freaks. Hear me out. If they add a prize like $500K bonus split between the players for basketball, that won't move the needle at all. at all. I believe baseball players are paid like 100 and most guys have like 150 or 200K in their contracts for making an all-star team and going and playing, and a lot of them just say no because it doesn't move the needle. Like, I'm going to say it right now. Max Scherzer could win a World Series, make 430K for winning a World Series, wouldn't move the needle for him at all. He's making $60 million a year. Like, I know that sounds gross, and it kind of is in a little way, but like, you got to put yourself in, like, contextually, like, it would happen to you too. You'd be like, oh, that's not really that big. It's not as big of an incentive as a lot of people think it is. Money doesn't really do it, which is weird. What if they did a one-on-one tournament instead of the All-Star game? Dude, I think but again, remember, now we're risking, it's all about injury, right? At the end of the day. So the effort comes from the injury, and baseball, same thing. People opt out because they don't want to get hurt or they're banged up, and baseball's such a long season that I get it. It's exhausting. So there's a level of that we're always going to be screwed. Someone outside of my studio just screaming. All right. Welcome to the new segment that we're going to do every single week. What the hell is war? This week we are doing war. Last week we did Stuff Plus. Guys, I had so much fun putting this together. Wins above replacement. War. What is it? Where did it come from? And how do we find it? Do you mine it? Can you sell it? Who knows? I'm about to tell you. So, war. Wait, that's not the right one. Wrong one. Sorry, guys. That's the wrong picture. I didn't mean to put that. Okay, here we go. Let me put on my nerd glasses for a second. Wins above replacement war is an attempt by sabermetric baseball community to summarize a player's total contributions to their team in one statistic. You should always use more than one metric at a time when evaluating players. But war is all-inclusive and provides a useful reference point for comparing players. So basically, it's a statistic that the advanced analytic community has developed in order to try to whittle down how good a player is or how valuable a player is into one number. A lot of teams have started to use ones above replacement in free agency. So basically, they'd be like, one win is worth this many $1 million when signing a new guy. It's not really that straight across. It's more complicated than that, but that is the general gist of it. You guys want to hear some super nerdy stuff? The differences between position players and pitchers is insane. WAR is batting runs plus batting runs, base running runs plus fielding runs plus positional adjustment plus league adjustment plus replacement runs divided by runs per win. That's the equation. Pitchers, it's just fielder independent pitching and innings pitched. So it's two things. So like one thing you're going to notice, pitchers WAR looks a lot different than position player WAR. WAR is much better for position players because they play defense and offense, and pitchers only play defense. So, and like actual pitching stats are hard to quantify in this way. So there's just less to work with. And that is why it's a little bit wishy-washy. And that's why every single reliever gets absolutely screwed by it. Now, a lot of you guys may know that there is more than one WAR. So they took something that is already insanely confusing. Hold on, I'm going to make this big for you. And made it more confusing. We have B WAR and we have F WAR. Over there. Yeah, you guys see it. So I'm going to quickly hit this real quick because this is boring shit. Basically, it's where you get your stats from. I'm going to hit you with all these things. The difference between Baseball Reference WAR and Fangraphs WAR. Two different websites that do statistics, and they do different things with their WAR numbers, and that's why all these WAR numbers are different than each other. All right? The data that they use is different, but for batting, they use a runs batting and RE24. Cool. while F4 uses WOBA and runs created plus. You can look at all this stuff too. Fielding is defensive runs saved. Oozer is ultimate zone rating. What can you get to? So at the end of the day, just all of this in a nutshell, really quickly, because we don't want to look at this too long, or we'll go crazy, like I did when I made it, because I made this by hand. The bottom. What actually happened is B WAR. What could happen is F WAR. Fangraphs WAR is to predict future success or lack thereof. Baseball Reference says, how well did you actually do? So, F WAR, if you look at a career F WAR for a player, it's still predicting what they would do if they kept playing. So, B WAR is better for looking at players who have retired. F WAR is better for looking at players that might go somewhere else, free agency coming up, so on and so forth. That is the big difference between those two things. At the end of the day, that it is. All of these numbers go into it. You don't need to see the equations. A bunch of nerds did it. Lots of glasses going around. But one is predictive. One is what happened. And it depends on which situation, which makes those things valuable. Now, I was looking for ways to explain this in a really good way. And I came up with the idea of kickball as an analogy. Let me explain this in terms of kickball, because everyone knows kickball, right? Raise your hand. Type 1 in the chat rooms if you played kickball at some point in your life. Fielder independent pitching is the three that comes right. Not kind of. It's innings pitched, hits, and yeah, it is. It is the three true outcomes. So everyone knows. Yeah. So everyone knows. Look at this. Look at that go crazy. Look at the Twitch up there. Everyone knows kickball. So here's the kickball metaphor in a nutshell. All right. We're playing kickball, and there's two captains that care about different things. Right? We have captain number 1. This is Barry, Baseball Reference. This is Barry B. Ref, all right? He's captain number 1. He's making the first team, and Barry judges kickball players in a distinct way. This is Frankie Fangraphs, all right? Frankie Fangraphs is the other captain, and he values kickball players differently. So Barry only looks at the final score and asks, did your team win? How many runs did your team score while you were kicking and fielding? Did your team win, and how much did it happen when you were there? That is what Barry cares about. That's B-WAR. Frankie, on the other hand, how well did you play? How many times did you get on base? How many outs did you make? It's all about how you did, not your team, okay? So here's some examples. If your team wins by 10 runs, Barry gives you a high score, even if you just stood in the outfield. Barry's a big fan of you just hanging out. If your team loses, Barry knocks your score down, even if you kicked 3 home runs, but your teammates blew it for you. Barry cares about your results, not about potential results. Frankie, though, if you kick 3 home runs, but you lost because your team played terribly, Frankie knocks down your score. If you struck out every time your teammates carried you to victory, Frankie still gives you a bad score. Frankie only cares about you. Frankie's selfish. So, Barry B. War, did your team win? Nice. Frankie F. War, though, yeah, but did you play good? I don't care. Do you get it? Barry's out here trying to enjoy the moment. Frankie's out here trying to find his next big star. But I think there's a valuable story to be told for both those things. But that is what the difference between B WAR and F WAR is. And that, my friends, is what WAR is. When you see a WAR number, just know we're talking about fielding, we're talking about hitting, we're talking about pitching, and we're talking about base running. Position players do 3 of those 4 things. Pitchers only do 2 of those 4 things. So defense is going to inordinately hurt pitchers more than it hurts position players. So you're probably wondering, okay, Trevor, so who in history has the biggest discrepancy between their B WAR and their F WAR? That man's name is Ryan Domit. Ryan Domit was worth 8.8 B WAR and negative 8.6 F WAR. That is a swing of over 17 WAR. The negative is not a typo. This is caused by a huge discrepancy in how defense is valued. His defensive skill is terrible, according to Fangraphs. So, he's so defensively bad. He's a backup. By the way, Ryan Domit was like a backup catcher, like first baseman, DH kind of guy, right? Good hitter. Horrible player, position player. Really, really bad defensively. So, because of his limited defensive ability, the things that actually happened were okay, but the trends were really scary, which killed his F WAR. But his B WAR was bolstered by the fact that most of the things he did was hitting. And that is how you get a crazy change. You have to have a guy who very rarely plays defense, and when he does, it's not great, to get something like this. And those guys don't really exist anymore. And Ryan Domit's retired. So it's also projecting now. It changes a little bit based on him being retired or not. But 17 swinging WAR is the greatest of all time. And Ryan Domit is one of my favorite Minnesota Twins of all time. Ryan Adona, it's Ryan Domit, you goofballs. Isn't even all open. Ryan Domit, what a goof. All right, we got a couple quick segments here, then we're going to get into some questions. So, guys, fire up your question. Think about any questions you want to ask, you want to have answered on the show here soon. We are going to be hitting those in a moment. But first, we got to get into, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? We're going to be talking about Paul Skenes, but we're also going to be talking about the crazy stats of the week. This week's crazy effing stats involve this man, Stan Musial. So, Stan the Man Musial long held the NL consecutive games played record, but was actually because of a technicality. So, on July 21st, 1957, Stan Musial had to bow out of a game to be honest, I couldn't find what the reason was, but it could have been sickness, could have been injury, but basically he had a really long streak going and he would have lost it. Now that game that he bowed out of and hadn't played in ended up getting postponed. There was rain and they delayed the game. He then came back and played in the ninth inning of the game in which they were leading 11-12 months later, which then counted as the game counting back then and kept his streak going. And he is now the NL all-time record holder for most games played in a row. The record holder all-time, as we know, is this man, Cal Ripken Jr., Hall of Famer. He played in 10 billion games in a row. It was 1,800, 18, it was, I don't know, it was like 20 straight years. It was a lot. Now, fun fact about this man is he almost lost his record. Oh, sorry, it's 2,181. It's literally behind him. He played that many games in a row, and he is the all-time record and also by like default, the AL record holder. But there was a game in the middle of his career where he was not going to play because of personal reasons. And we'll talk about that in a moment. It just so happened that Camden Yards had a little bit of a light issue that night, and the lights wouldn't come on. So they had to postpone that game, in which Cal Ripken then played and kept his streak going. Now, back to the reasoning why he missed that game. Allegedly, he had gotten into a fight with Kevin Costner, who Cal Ripken allegedly had caught sleeping with his wife. Now, it's alleged. This is a common story told around baseball. I don't know if it's true. So I don't want to call anyone out. I don't know if this actually happened, but if it did, that is freaking insane. But it's alleged. I don't know if we've been clear here. I'm trying to put so many allegedlys in here that it's impossible to clip it. But if it did happen, if it didn't happen, it's an interesting fake story that someone told at once. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that, but yeah, it was a Ricky Vaughn, Roger Dorn stitch, except for Kevin Costner's not a real baseball player. All right, we're good? Everyone good with that? Good. Okay, moving on. I just work here. All right. Now, a little final segment here. We're going to talk about Paul Skenes. Paul Skenes, interesting article come out in ESPN, as reported. Pirates ace Paul Skenes tinkering with new pitches. Really? What kind of pitches? Well, I'm about to tell you. Paul Skenes has added 2 pitches to his arsenal going into 2025. He now has a cutter and a 2-seamer to go along with the infamous splinker, with his sweeping slider, with his 4-seam fastball, and his changeup that he rarely throws anymore. So he technically has 6 pitches now. And you may ask yourself, why does this man need 2 new pitches? So here's how Paul works. And I've done a lot of breakdowns on Paul Skenes. And this kind of tracks with, with what I saw. And this is really, heartening to see, because I hear from every source, especially Derek Shelton, just glows about this guy, his manager in Pittsburgh, and friend of the show, I guess, Derek Shelton. Shelty says it's amazing this guy's 22 years old. Like, he's such a pro. He's thinking ahead. He knows what he needs to do. He already knows how this thing's going to work and how he's going to be successful long term. So he throws a 4-seam fastball that is not a riding fastball. It's kind of a dead zone movement fastball. Has some arm side run, has some ride, not a lot of both, but he throws 100 and that's how he gets away with it. And he's got a weird arm slot too. So those 2 things happen, but it's not in a vacuum. Like Stuff Plus. The Stuff Plus on his 4-seam isn't really that great because of all of the factors that go into how I do that. So he's not going to just be able to blow fastballs by everybody. His splinker is the thing that makes it really well. He knows that his fastball isn't the greatest fastball ever, right? Velocity helps a lot, but movement wise, at some point when the velocity drops a little bit, it becomes less effective really quickly. So he added 2 new fastballs. It's all about using the inside of the plate for Paul Skenes. And this is me extrapolating on the things he was saying. Adding a cutter allows him to get into lefties, and adding a 2-seam or a sinker. He says 2-seam, so I'm assuming it doesn't have a lot of downwards. Probably just goes into righties. If you remember, Hunter Brown did this last year. I think it was something that Verlander told him, or maybe McCullers. Somebody said, you should throw something that goes in on guys, and he did, and he became nails. It's crazy. He went from everything moving away from righties to having something that goes in, goes 96, 97 miles an hour. Paul Skenes, I'm assuming, is going to be throwing a 98, 99 mile an hour 2-seam fastball. What he wants to do is use this upper quadrant, the top right, the top left little square, and the little 9 box. He wants to use those 2 with pitches early in counts. He also mentioned wanting to get to kill counts faster. So he wants to continue to be a strikeout guy, but I never learned, I was willing to throw 15 pitches to a guy to strike him out. Paul Skenes wants to go deeper into games. Paul Skenes wants to throw 200 innings. In order to do that, he's going to have to get guys out and get them out quickly. That sometimes means giving up contact. So throwing pitches, more fastballs in the strike zone early in counts, where it might be soft contact with something moving into you, is a good option for him. He added both sides in one offseason. I don't doubt that it's going to be really good right out the gate, but he's going to be doing that to get to kill counts. What is a kill count? A kill count is a pitch where you are in the driver's seat pitcher the fastest possible. That is 0-1, 1-2, 0-2. All right? 0-1, 1-2, 0-2. He wants to get to those 3 counts as fast as possible. That's a Max Scherzer term for you. Kill counts. Max Scherzer knows what everyone does in kill counts. It's crazy. It's one of his things. And I learned that from him. And Skenes said the same thing. I want to get to these counts faster so that I can go for the strikeout. But if they're going to put it in play, I want them to put it in play in those pitches. I don't want to get 3-2, throw 9 pitches, and then give up a ground ball. I want to get the ground ball in the first 3 pitches. And if I get past those 3 pitches, it's a strikeout time. Cutter, sinker, splinker, 94-mile splitter, hammer slider, 101 at the top of the zone, 4-seam fastballs. Paul Skenes. You see it? No, you didn't? Well, you're out. Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. I'm just trying to create more swing decisions, is what he said, which that gives him more options to use more of the strike zone and also do all the things that I just mentioned. So this is extremely advanced stuff for a 22-year-old second year in big leagues guy. Like extremely. It's crazy, actually. But this is an example of how advanced analytics has and like coaching has gotten so much better at the lower levels and in amateur baseball that guys are coming into the league with this knowledge. That's nuts. It took me till I was 31 years old to where I got to the point where I was like, oh yeah, like cut her in. I got to get him off this and stay on the, like all this stuff. The way he sees the whole picture together is really impressive. So I anticipate Paul Skenes having a huge year. And the only thing keeping him from winning a Cy Young is going to be the number of innings he throws. That's it. That's it. That and healthy, but being healthy, which also affects the innings. So I would be very excited to watch Paul Skenes, even more so than we already were. And yeah, if you hit it, you're going straight into the ground, said Adam Frazier about his splinker. Yep, Paul Skenes, he's nasty. All right. Hope you enjoyed that a lot, guys, because I enjoyed doing it with you. Let's do some questions. What do we got? Do we got any questions in the chat? Oh, we got some subscriptions. Let me catch up on some of this stuff as we wind down for the last 10 minutes here. Guys, hit me with the questions in the chat. I'll try to put them on the screen and answer them as fast as I can. Sorry. Zetters, 42-month sub. Thank you so much. Happy 42 months. And Starman Prime, new sub. Guys, you can use your Amazon Prime account to connect it to your Twitch account, and then you can sub to anyone for free. You get one a month. If you're not using it, please use it now. If you are using it, good for you. You're doing God's work, and we appreciate that a lot. All right. How do non-roster guys afford spring training? Actually, they live with somebody, usually. So non-roster invitees to spring, they're paid the same stipend. So they're paid like the $1,400 a week, which is a good amount of money. But it's like $8,000 for the whole time. And like I said, if you want to get your own place, it's like 30, 25, 20, like just for a normal house. So, or an apartment's probably 10. So yeah, they're running in the negative. Most people are. Like O's family, no, they live with like another player. Yeah, no, they live with like a rich vet. They live with like, because usually like those guys they'll have their family, but they'll have a couple rooms or whatever. Is Cole Reagan's a young Cy Young dark horse? Yes. Not even that dark of a horse, frankly. Yes. Do clubs have a clubhouse? You mean like a dorm? No. No. That's not real. Not anymore. It used to be, but it's not anymore. Not saying they're obligated to. No, they're not obligated, but they usually gotta hook you up. Like you can. I remember I went down my first spring training. I went down. I lived with Alex Meyer. We've both been traded there recently to the Twins, and so we're like, you want to get a house together, and so we split it. Trevor, do you like Tool? I don't know a lot of Tool, but from what I've heard and from people who really love Tool, it's pretty awesome. But I don't just sit. I feel like Tool is like what you put on. You're like, I'm more of like I'm an upbeat person. Justin Steele, Cy Young. It'd be tough for Justin Steele. He'd have to throw a ton of innings. The thing is, it's contact, and like if you don't have the strikeout numbers, it's really hard. It's really hard, and he strikes out guys, but he's just like he eats innings. He's more of a. That's the thing. It's like it's even like Wheeler, right? Wheeler is always gonna be like top 3, but he's not gonna win as many because he's not as dominant as other guys who throw as hard as he does. So Steele has that same thing, but he could throw like 220 innings one year, and in a weaker year when there's no like, you know, Houston Astros Garrett Cole or something in there, then he could win it. I think he could. I think he's got the ability to and the consistency to do. I just don't know if his stuff plays. How can you tell you're at a dinner party with a Tool fan? Don't worry, they'll let you know. Have you heard, would you rather be able to throw a knuckleball or a screwball? Knuckleball. Screwball, I can throw a screwball. Everyone can throw a screwball. It's not that hard. A good one's hard, but like it's hard to even throw a knuckleball remotely good. Remotely good. Have you heard any backlash about playing in a minor league park in Sacramento? No. Everyone's kind of just over worrying about it, I think. And not only that, now there's another team that's playing in a minor league park. So now there's two teams. So like it's hard to complain when there's two teams having to deal with it. It's just, it is what it is. Like it's bull crap. And frankly, if this is my prediction. If Las Vegas falls through for every reason, mostly because John Fisher is inept, if that fell through, he would try to get a deal from his buddy, the other billionaire, who basically just gave him the team in San Francisco or Sacramento so he could have a stopgap. He'll just like Band-Aid that park and go there. I don't know why that would be better. It's like the same market, but worse. It's not a better market, so I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I haven't heard a lot about it. Ooh, here's a good one. Do you think it would be better for let the Mariners sacrifice a piece of their dominant pitching for a bat or two, or do you think keeping the young studs in the rotation would give them the shot? They seem to think having only the young studs. I don't think they need all five. I think they could get rid of one if they could get the right pieces. If they could get young guys who can contribute to the big leagues now. And if you just hit on one, you know, you just got to hit on a guy. And I think like Miller or Wu could bring, because I don't know if Miller and Wu are like aces long term. They're really good. I think they're 2-3s. But like Logan Gilbert and Kirby are like take over a like game type nasty, right? Punch 15 type nasty. So I think they could, and I think Emerson Hancock could be a great fifth starter. It's a depth thing. They're just terrified of it. I think we're past that point. I don't think it's going to happen now, but I think they should have done it and they didn't. I think they should have done it. They didn't. Trevor, why isn't the knuckleball a more league-wide pitch that's used, and why don't more pitches use it? Because it's kind of a last resort. They're unpredictable, and they're hard. They're unpredictable. It's unpredictable how well they're going to work, and it's novelty. So, like the Tim Wakefields of the world, there's just not going to be another Tim Wakefield who can do it for a long period of time. He played at a time where it makes sense. We play at a time now where knuckleballs will get figured out too easily. That's why every knuckleballer you see now throws it harder and has other pitches. They have to. You can't throw one pitch in this game. You can't. And that's why. Any countries that you didn't get to play in that you wish you did? Not play. I would like to go to a baseball game in Japan. It would be cool to go to Japan at some point. But play anywhere? No, that experience doesn't move the needle for. I would rather like go as a fan to a game somewhere else than play in one. Though it would have been cool to like, you know, go to play in the Latin American, like the Latin series or whatever. But like at the same time, I played in the major league playoffs before. So like I know what 50,000 people hoping you blow it feels like. I played in City Field. Like I've heard everything you can hear. Is it truly difficult for Rockies to get good pitchers because of the altitude, et cetera, or just mostly lazy ownership? This is the last question, guys. Before I get out of here, I want to thank everyone for being here, hanging out. I'm going to hit on this real quick. It's both. It's both. It's very hard to pitch there. It's very hard to figure out the best way to be successful there. Adam Ottavino talked about this a lot in Cut on the Diamond. You guys go check that episode out. It's from last week, Cut on the Diamond podcast, anywhere you listen to podcast. I sat down with Adam Ottavino. He answered this question really well. He just said they're super old school. Daniel Bard said the same thing. Super old school. They don't even do technology. They're not really interested in figuring it out. They're okay with what's happening. So when you have that mixed with the challenges of pitching there, you're just not going to get, you're not going to run into Ubaldo Jimenez very often. So that's it. Any new book recommendations? No new books recommended right now. I am currently reading and listening to the Stormlight Archive. I am almost done with Oathbringer, the third book, so that I can reread Rhythm of War and then get to Winds of Truth. The new one, the last one just came out, and Trevor Williams said it's wonderful. Also, Call of Duty, Cut on the Diamond podcast episode. So, guys, thank you so much for being here, chilling, hanging out. I really appreciate you all being here for the Mayday show. We are here every Monday from 1 to 3 Pacific time. Obviously, Pacific time. I'm a Pacific boy, all right? Pacific time. We will be back next weekend. That is next week, 2/24, and I have a big announcement coming next week, so do not miss that show. Put it in your calendar. I'll see you there. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are on YouTube, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're on Twitch, give me a smile. And as always, drink your water. Go watch some baseball, and I'll see you next time.